Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and I'm super excited today. Let me tell you, because what we're going to talk about is one of my favorite things to talk about. So, let me introduce our guests and then we're going to get right into it. So, today's conversation is about something many people sense but struggle to name. It's the quiet patterns that repeat in our lives, especially in our relationships, and the deeper reason they show up. My guest today is Mikail Maillet. Maillet. Did I get that right?
Millet,
Yay!
yes.
Okay, yay! Author, teacher, long life student of the mind. For more than 45 years, he has worked with principles that explore how thought, imagination, and awareness shape not only our inner world, but the relationships we experience, the obstacles we face, and the meaning we make from our lives. This is a conversation about awareness, responsibility, and the freedom that comes when you finally see what's been running the show or who's been running the show. I want to know what's running the show in my head. So
Mhm.
welcome. Would you like to tell everybody a bit about yourself?
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Mikail Maillet. I've been a lifelong study of many systems over near 50 years now. Uh, Martial arts instructor well, I've been practicing the arts for over 53 years.
Wow.
And I've studied equally. I think I began studying when I was about 17. And I just had this urge to know why we're here. What is my purpose? And why is everyone so different? So I began my study in the Eastern philosophies and just took off from there. I pretty much studied all the major faiths and religions, psychology, philosophy, etc. And I just can't get enough. Last 5 years, I've been studying a lot of Carl Jung's psychology, William James, and just love it. I'm learning so much about the psyche, learning a ton about myself
Yeah.
and patterns of thinking. And I just discovered about maybe 11 years ago, discovered the power of the mind and the imagination. And we used to blame others for our circumstances and things like this. And when I took a look at my own life and all the happenings that occurred, I realized that they were all my doing due to my thinking process, due to actions I may take. You know, there are consequences for every action, good or bad.
Mhm.
And I started to pay attention to that, especially in the last 5 years, where my life was going. And I learned that if I harness my thinking, as you know, we have thousands and thousands of thoughts daily, but how many of those are actually yours? You know, most of it's in fact, all of it is from the unconscious. And we live in our unconscious at least 85% of the time. So when one is present to their thoughts, then they're living in their presence. And for example, an artist will be into a painting or craft of some kind, and they're deep into it, and there's no distractions, and you're 100% there. You're fully present. That's being completely conscious of what you're doing. But with thoughts, I found that negative thinking leads to negative experiences. I've tested it over and over. Positive thinking leads to positive influences or occurrences. So I realized that circumstances don't create us. We create our own circumstances. And it just took a while for that to really sink in. And I've tested all these theories. Thought creates reality.
It
And
does.
in
It
all
does.
things, like emotions to manifesting things in our lives. I don't care much for the term manifesting because you can't manifest something from nothing, right?
Right.
Come from somewhere, but everything began in the mind. Everything that exists today in this entire universe began through the first thought.
Yes. Yes.
And so I just, once I realized how to create events in my own life, that impact me and those around me, I decided I've got to do this as often as I possibly can because, again, we can get down these rabbit holes and traps of thinking that lead us in an unwanted area, in
Yeah. Yeah.
so I found it very important to know your thoughts as
Yes.
much as possible, even how you think about another person. You know, I like to think send love always. There's nothing greater than love and a helping hand, someone who is in need. You know, there's a lot of important things in life I think we need to be more conscious of.
Absolutely. Tell us, I love the title of your book, Your Mind or Your Life. And that's the cover of your book right behind you there.
Correct, yes.
So, when did you write that book?
I began writing it in 2012
Yeah.
and I completed it. It was somewhat of a draft in 2015. I paid a lot of money to have it edited. They dropped the ball on me.
Mm.
A year went by and they just still wouldn't fix the problems they left in my book. My wife read the book on the first night and she said, geez, I found 17 mistakes in here already. And I'm
Uh-oh.
saying, oh, show me. So what happened was the editor put two words together, should have been separated. I went back in my manual and looked at it. I did not write it this way. And
Yeah.
so I was kind of disappointed and I wanted them to fix it. And they never got back to me. And a year went by. And the publisher called me, asked me if I wanted to reprint my book, and I said, absolutely not. Not the way it is. You haven't fixed it. So the year had gone by, time was up. So I said, no, I'm going to shelve it and I'm going to rewrite it. I took from, I guess, the last 5 years, I finally decided to sit down and read my book. And I went, my goodness, who wrote this book? It's just a mess. There's a lot of good material in there, but
Yes.
there was much that was unfinished. I didn't
Oh.
explain things. I should have elaborated more on certain topics. And so I decided to pull 4 chapters out of there. One of the chapters was a bit of my upbringing and life. And I figured that doesn't really need to be there, maybe an autobiography down the road.
Hmm.
So I eliminated 4 chapters, rewrote 6 new chapters, and rewrote the entire book. And it took me 5 years to do that. I
Wow.
did 25, about 25 editings of my own. I,
Yeah.
uh, I just took one sentence, one paragraph at a time, and
Wow.
just rewrote the whole thing. And
Well,
in the end, I was quite happy that it was finally done.
I mean, that's a long time, and
It
you
is.
obviously you're meticulous, obviously, which is
Yeah, and
good.
yeah, the reason why is because I run a painting outfit as well. So
Yeah.
busy working all the time and keeping everybody, happy and
Yes.
family life, the whole bit. So it
Yeah.
does take a bit of time. But in my retirement years, it's going to be different,
Yes.
spend more
So,
time.
so tell us a little bit about what the book is about. I mean, I think we all know because we're already talking about the
Yeah,
mind, but tell
yeah.
us a little bit about what that book is about if I was going to go pick it up and read it.
Yeah, well, the subtitle itself says it all. It's
Yeah.
How to Liberate a Trapped Mind. A lot of young people today, even older folks, are still trapped in their own thinking.
Hmm.
They blame the parents, they blame the circumstance, the environment they were raised in, etc. Um, so a lot of people are trapped in their thinking. Why is these experiences keep happening in my life? Why do I keep meeting the wrong person? Why do I always feel depressed? Doctors put us on medication, etc. What the book really is about is delving into your own self and taking responsibility for who you are, the thoughts you put out, the actions you take in life. Um, if one starts to change their thinking patterns, their paradigms is what I call them. We get used to certain patterns throughout our life, and without questioning, growing up, many concepts we were brought up with, we never questioned because this is our parents, these are our teachers, and this is what they taught me. But somewhere around a certain age, I think around 15, 16, I started to think about purpose. Why are we here? So the book is about finding purpose, finding meaning in life, and becoming more awakened, spiritually connected, um, with any and all genders. It doesn't really matter because we're all one in the end. We're all
Yes.
created from the same
Yes.
source, same energy, and it's just, it's all about improving self and becoming uh, a more conscious human being, you know.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. What do so many people uh, I find try to fix their circumstances.
Hmm.
And but you're focusing more on liberating the mind. So
Yeah.
what's the difference there?
Well, to fix a circumstance, you really can't fix a circumstance. You're better off changing your circumstance. When you look
Mm,
at the circumstance you're in, it's good to take notice of why this is happening. How did I get here? And most of the time, if we just look within our own self, we can see how we got here. And most of the time, in fact, probably all of the time, you realize that I see how I got here just by the way I behaved, the way I, um, presented myself, or maybe I chose the wrong job and
mhm,
it's just not it's not connecting with my passions, my love. Um, I think that when you hone your own mind and you start thinking in the direction that serves you best, you'll find, and it's not hard. It's actually works pretty quick. Your mind is instant.
mhm,
Whether a person believes in a higher source, which I do, I believe that higher source will get to work for you. If you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm this or I'm that, I'm not built to do that," well, that's just what you're going to experience because
right.
that's what you believe. So a lot of this is attached to belief.
Mhm,
And I think that when you start looking at your patterns of thinking and you start to change your patterns of thinking, life itself begins to change, and it happens rather quickly.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
belief is a huge part of moving ahead. And,
Yes.
if one believes in a certain ideology, what makes you believe that? Like, where's the proof that this actually is a good thing for everyone, for all
Hmm.
involved?
Yeah.
The problem with a lot of these ideologies around the world is we get trapped in these cycles of right and left, good and bad,
Oh,
right, yeah,
it's exhausting.
it is exhausting and it's no fun.
No.
There's no freedom in it. There's too
Hmm.
much bickering and arguing, debating. So I like to stay right in the middle, bit of right, bit of left. I'm easy to get along with, and I think that women these days are finally, it's been happening for quite a while, but I've noticed that women are starting to get more and more in the higher positions in careers,
Yes.
etc. Even these days, a lot of women are doing great things on social,
Yes.
podcasting, etc., and becoming very independent.
Yes.
And I'm a
Yes.
very nonconformist type of person because I find that conformity, I have no freedom. If something is mandatory, um, I that kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. I don't
Yeah.
like, you know, it's
I
just like what we
understand.
recently went through a few years ago.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Uh,
Absolutely.
it's important to become independent and,
Yes.
self-educated, self-motivated. You can't wait for things to come to you because they won't come that
No.
way.
No.
If you're
No.
trying to materialize something in your life, you first got to be clear about what you want, know
Yes.
what you want. And I love to meditate, so I focus on the goal I want, and I see the people involved in the goal that I want. If I want to best to emulate someone who's doing what you want and learn from them, but then you have to get out there and actually take action
Yes.
and implement these ideas so that you can attain these goals.
Yeah.
There are some have taught where you just think about it and meditate on it and will it and it'll come. No, it doesn't work that way.
No.
It's just
No.
too woo-woo. So, and my sons, they stress that upon me because they know me quite well, and I used to talk about these things, but they would always say, "But you have to take action." Absolutely, you do. Of course,
Yes.
you can't take a vision and think about it all day, affirm it all day, year after year, and expect a
Yeah.
result because you won't get that
It's
result.
like that Bible verse, the Lord helps those who help themselves.
Perfectly said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly true. Exactly true.
Yeah. Yeah. What about imagination? So you speak about the
Oh, yeah.
power of imagination.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how does it help us to shape our lives? Or does it?
It sure does. We use our imagination daily and don't realize it. And what I mean by that is it's by telling yourself, for example, I'm going to have a fantastic day today. And if you stick with that thought process, you will have a fantastic day. But the second something happens in an early part of the day, the thoughts start to come, oh, is it going to be one of these days again? So you're already imagining to have a shitty day. And it's best to look at that experience that you just had, because I go through it, and I put the stop to it right on the spot and say, okay, I recognize what's going on right now. There's a negative thing happen, experience of some kind, and I need to just shift my thinking, take a minute, and just breathe and say, okay, the rest of the day is going to just be fine. I'm going to have a good day today. Nothing's going to get in
Yeah.
my way. If so, I'll just brush it off.
Yeah.
And then, so I just set my imagination on a positive end.
Yeah.
Another way that I like to use the imagination is in meditation.
Mm.
So let's say I have a career in mind and I know the company I want to work for. I know the people that work there. So I would use my imagination, and this has worked for me 100% of the time. Every time I've been doing this since I was, I guess, in my mid 20s somewhere, but not realizing the power behind it. So I
Yes.
would visualize the workplace. I would visualize myself getting a paycheck, doing the work, communing with all the workers there and doing a good job, etc. And I would do this every day until I got that job. But in that process, I would go and I would make myself known, let them know who I am, what I'm looking for, I'm interested. And I've done this with so many things in my life. In fact, I found my wife this way. And the
Ooh.
funny thing with the universe is her and I have been together for, I guess we're in our 41st year
Oh.
now, and I'm not afraid to say I'm still madly in love with her.
Oh.
I just,
Oh, now I got
yeah,
shivers.
yeah, I
Oh.
love her so much. It's amazing. We do
Oh.
so much for each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if, if, if things are to go, even in a relationship, if things are to go well, you got to be able to communicate. You have to know what you both desire, no matter what it is, and share those thoughts. Don't keep secrets. Always communicate. And never tell your person, or I should say, always tell your person every single day, and I've never failed at how much you love them.
No,
It's
absolutely.
harsh, but it's
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
communication and is absolutely so important.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and letting people know because we walk around a lot of times assuming, especially
Yeah.
us women, we walk
That's the
around and it's
worst
like,
thing.
oh, well, he didn't tell me he loved me today. What's going on?
Yeah.
It really, it's just maybe he
I'm
had
glad
to
you
go.
mentioned that. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
maybe he went
mentioned
out the
that.
door a little quicker, but
Yeah. You know,
maybe he was running late. I don't know.
yeah.
But it's yeah, it's not, don't make all this like great big craziness up. But
No,
women,
assuming
we're bad
create.
that way.
Yeah, it's true. Assuming is always the wrong way to go.
Yeah.
You never know what's going on, right? It
No,
could
you
be
don't.
it could be
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I like to just go with the flow and just let me
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
If I'm crossing a line or I'm saying the wrong thing, please let me know.
Yes.
We're human.
That's right. That's
We're
right.
gonna make mistakes,
No, that's
uh,
absolutely true.
but
So,
I think it's
yeah.
important. The power of the mind and imagination is key to everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine what you want in your life and get after it.
Yes,
You know,
I 100% agree. Yeah.
is
And I would
sorry,
just
go
want to
ahead.
say that a couple of days ago, I woke up, I was like, I got out of bed and I remember I said, oh man, I am so tired. And then I stopped myself and I said, no, I'm not. I'm not tired. And automatically, I didn't
Yeah.
feel tired.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. It
Amazing.
is amazing.
People
And that
pay
was just a
attention
little
to that.
tiny thing.
Yeah. And it all starts on that first wake up.
Yeah.
That first, feeling gratitude, feeling happy to be alive. And,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
that's where it all starts. I remember when I was going through my own changes, still unsure about life, unsure about myself. And I used to wake up that way. Well, you'd start negative thinking, and then it would
Yeah.
just milk in. And I'd come downstairs, make coffee, I'd spill something, and oh, I'd get cranky. And next thing you
Yeah.
know, my whole day turns out that way.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
started to pay attention to those things. And then I started waking up a little more. I've taken a lot of courses over the years as well. But these courses have taught me to change the way I think and the way I process
Hmm.
my thoughts, the way I view life. And
Yeah.
my whole life changed when I met my wife. And
Oh,
it's just been, and I have an
oh,
amazing relationship with all my kids, my grandkids.
yeah.
It's,
And I agree that kind of thing doesn't just happen.
no, you have to create it.
You have to create it, absolutely, and you have to be mindful of it.
Hmm.
And you know what, when I'm listening to you talk, you're not a victim.
No,
And I think that's one of the biggest things that holds so many people back, especially if they've had
yeah.
a trauma in their childhood or even in their marriages or a
Mm,
bad episode at work. They can start to feel like they're victims.
yeah.
And when we feel like victims, we're going to be treated like a victim.
Yeah, you have to get out of the victim mentality.
Yes,
An
you do.
excuse that many people use. It's the past is the past. It happened. Get over it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's if there's the trauma so bad, and it can be,
Yes, of course.
therapy I highly recommend
Hmm.
because, I had trauma as a child growing up. I lost my mom before I was 5 years old. She died of
Oh,
cancer.
oh.
I've just recently lost my dad, but he was a mean dad growing
Hmm.
up, just, very uneducated and just worked his whole life. So he managed to keep the family together when my mom died.
Yeah.
And, the rest of the family are bitter.
Mhm.
I made amends with my dad just recently and a few years ago. We talked about things, got everything out, hugged and cried, and
Oh,
loved each other again. And he found out about my book just recently and was so proud because he heard I was nominated for the Chili's Award in Chilliwack, and that
yes.
message got back to him, eh? So
Oh,
he just passed away, I think a month after all that happened. So he got to
oh,
see everything, and he died in his sleep, which was
oh.
a very lucky man.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
He was
Oh,
91 years old.
oh,
Yeah, so he lived a long life.
yes, yes.
He says,
Well,
I didn't,
I think in your dad's time and
yeah,
past generations, my parents, grandparents, that's just how they were.
that's right.
They just and it's almost like they didn't have time to think.
Yeah,
We're certainly busy in our lives, but
true.
there's more accept like knowledge is more accessible to us.
Exactly. And in their time, they had, post-war effects, right?
Oh yeah, I'd rather
Radio
be
and
here than back when they were
yeah,
growing
me
up,
too.
that's for sure.
Me too.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not excusing people's behaviors,
No.
but um but we always have to look at the source.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. So you talk about mastering the self. So
Yeah.
how does that actually look in daily life?
Well, to master the self, you got to understand your feelings. You got to understand uh, your thoughts, your beliefs, and take beliefs, for example. What is it a person really believes in? A lot of people are locked in these ideologies. Does it really serve you in a positive manner? Most of them don't, because there's always a side. I'm on this side, and these guys are on that side, and I don't like sides. I more like the Tao. You know, that line in the middle of the yin
Yeah.
yang, where there's a bit of right within us, a bit of left within us, but we're somewhat balanced.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think, being responsible, in your life. For example, if I'm walking past my kitchen sink and I see there's dishes in the sink, I'm going to take charge and get those cleaned up for my girl because that's
Yeah.
just one less thing she has to do. She's a very
Yes.
busy woman as it is. And so, if I have a candy wrapper in my hand because I just ate a chocolate bar, for example, do I throw it on the ground or do I have integrity? And am I going to hold it until I find a garbage can? I
Yes.
mean, these are parts of the things that, in mastering yourself is having integrity. And this is what is lacking in a lot of people, I find, is they just don't have much of integrity. Either they don't understand it or the circumstances they created for themselves have put them in that state.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
just knowing your thoughts, being conscious of the food you put in your body, the exercise programs you might have,
Yeah.
how you associate with family, with friends, with your peers, seniors, etc. Just all those things. And whatever your career is, your chosen career, do you love it? Does does it serve you in a very harmless manner? Is it a love you have?
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, but I think the biggest part is just knowing your thoughts,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
knowing your thoughts and knowing yourself.
Yeah.
If you know something's going to trigger you, don't don't play
Yeah.
with that. Just don't do
Yeah.
what triggers you.
Absolutely.
'Cause we are
Don't push
yeah,
those buttons.
exactly. And some people love to push those buttons,
Some people do.
with others.
Yeah.
So,
I want to go back to relationships again for a minute because I want to ask a question, something I wrote down here. I wanted to make sure I asked you. So
mhm.
people will say, I keep attracting the same type of person.
Hmm.
And what would you say is actually being attracted? How do you, so, if maybe people are attracting angry people, or people are attracting
Yeah.
mean, or people are attracting loving. How is it that we're doing that?
That's a paradigm that's been built over many, many years. Maybe a person witnessed their parents behaving in a certain way. So, as far as, if a pattern started that you were attracting somebody that was violent in your life, and once you have gone through that relationship, it's very harsh in the end. You leave that alone because you've built that within yourself. You're going to attract a similar person again. And
Hmm.
there's only one way to break that pattern. That pattern will continue for your entire life if you stay in that state of mind. So instead of saying, why do I keep meeting these crazy people?
Hmm.
I personally, to master self, you must learn to meditate. You must be able to shut down, take moments of peace and quiet, and just talk to yourself. If you believe in a higher source, that's where I go to, and I humbly ask that my circumstances, it's up to me to change them, and I want you. I don't ask for the help. I demand the help because we are together. We work together
Hmm.
as Source and I, as well as yourself. Um, because whatever you believe, you will manifest. There's no question. If I believe um, I'm ugly or I'm just not capable of having a relationship, then you'll continue to have that. To break
Hmm.
that pattern, you have to talk within the self and
Hmm.
demand a stop to this madness that you've been going through and say, I want this pattern to stop now. I want to begin a whole new night, a whole new life. And please help me meet someone that is of equal mind, a loving person that doesn't judge me, and begin this relationship. For me, the way it happened for me is and if you get emotional in that process, even better.
Hmm.
Because when you put emotion into your meditation, it just it speeds everything up. It E in motion.
Yes.
If you tap into your emotion and you're really sincere about what you want, I guarantee it's impossible not to get. So, and I know this to be factual. I used to meditate about finding the perfect person for me. And whenever you put that kind of energy out, the universe brings you back way more than you expected, way better. Everything is so much more vibrant. The experiences are beyond what your imagination. And I used to meditate this way a lot. I was tired of being alone because I have many acquaintances. I had many friends growing up, but when I decided to close my doors and get into my books, I became very lonely, you know.
Yeah.
I became alone, and as time passed, I noticed the years went by, and I just didn't have anybody in my life yet that I wanted. There've been girls, but it never lasted. Something didn't feel right.
Hmm.
So one night I was on my way to a nightclub that I used to work in. I was a doorman there. And this was after a few years of wanting. And, I'd tear up and I would cry like I really want to devote my life to uh, someone I can spoil, someone I can love my entire life, completely committed, no one else. And I was walking to the club one night and I get in there and this woman walked in with her sister and a few other girls. And somehow my eyes met hers. She didn't recognize yet, but as soon as I saw her eyes, I knew right away. And I looked at my buddy next to me. I says, I don't know who that is, but I'm going to marry that woman someday. And I was too
Oh,
shy, so
woo.
I didn't ask her anything. I watched her. I watched her behavior. She used to come in on Tuesday nights, ladies' nights, and Saturday nights. So I'd be working those nights, and I would always watch her for about 3 months just to see if she came in with a guy, if she was married. I had no idea. And then one day, her girlfriend came up to me and says, I know this person that is very interested in you. She's very attracted to you. And I says, I think I know who you're talking about. And it turns out it was her. And I said, well,
My
how can I meet
goodness.
her? Yeah, I said, how can I
Yeah.
meet her? So she told me, go for a haircut. She's a hairdresser. And I did. I went there. She started washing my hair, and I just fell in love
Oh,
instantly. And that same day, she asked me out on a date. And I said, yeah, of course. So one evening, she came to pick me up. We went to an outdoor concert. And it was me, her and her sister, and three other girls in the back seat. And birthday conversation came up, and my wife said her birthday is Halloween. I said, that's weird. Mine is the day after, November
oh,
1st. And her sister was also a Scorpio, November 10th.
oh,
So, just things started to connect, and we got to this concert. We didn't even watch one show. We just tripped together out in the
yeah.
fields and got to know each other. Went back home, and we've never been separated ever since.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
beautiful.
she asked me to marry her. And
Oh,
I said, okay, yeah, absolutely, but I'll pick the time.
yeah.
So we got married high noon on April 8th, 1988. And,
Oh,
it's just, we've never been separated
oh,
since,
that's
I think it
beautiful.
was June 7th, 1985.
Yeah. So I mean, I totally get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. And for anybody out there who's looking for somebody or wants
Mm,
that
yeah.
relationship, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. You got
That's
to
how you do it.
really, you
Absolutely.
have to make an agreement with
Yes.
yourself. You got to stick with it. You got to be honest. You
Yeah,
have to have integrity. You can't be a cheater. You can't be a player. If that's who you are, then you won't have that kind of relationship.
that's
Now,
right.
another note is children. A lot of kids on the streets today, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
say, but a lot of it is the parents' fault. Not all of it, but a lot of it is the parents' fault because I see it even today. Parents don't
Yeah.
care about their kids as much.
No. No.
So with my kids, I was all about communicating with them growing up. They didn't understand the word can't,
Hmm.
don't, because I always told them there's nothing you can't accomplish in this life.
Yeah.
And whatever you want to do, I'm 100% behind you.
Yeah.
So I supported them throughout their lives. And now they run my company and, we're doing quite well. I'm very happy. And I just love my life so much
Uh,
because I'm
I
in charge of
yes. Yes.
my own
I I
circumstances
think
outside.
I think for those kids out on the streets.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to you talk, and it's like, how else could your kids have turned out?
Hmm.
You've got that positivity
Yeah.
and all of that there. And
Yeah.
I think I deal a lot with generational trauma, a lot of the
Hmm.
women who write in my books.
Wow.
And that's how I see it.
Yeah.
I don't know where, maybe those parents, and again, that's not an excuse.
No, but
When
parents
you
could be
you got to pick
jail, could be
yourself up
sick.
and fix yourself so that your kids are fixed, so your
Yeah.
grandkids are fixed.
Agreed.
It stops with us,
It does.
and it is what it is, and we can't go back and change our parents' lives or our grandparents, but
No.
we can change our future generations.
True. And we
Yeah,
don't stop blaming our parents. We have to accept that it was a different time for them.
that's right.
Respect and love your parents for, that you're here now. You're
Yes.
responsible. Now
Yeah.
you create a better future for your kids and grandkids.
Yes.
And that's what I consciously decided. I even said to my kids that I'm the first generation, a little inflated, but I didn't like my past with my dad. Had my mom lived, I mean, he remarried and I had a wonderful stepmom. She was amazing. I could talk to her about anything. But had my mom stuck around, maybe my life would be different, you know.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
I used to seek solace in religion. I was born, raised Catholic, and just things didn't seem right. Heard too many stories, and I found that too many ritualistic things, and then I, shift over to another Christian base, and they had so many rules and so many, you're born in sin, and I never believed that idea in the first place. But and women are creating the original sin. How disgusting a comment, a
Hmm.
statement is from the church and stuff. So I just decided I would study all different faiths,
Hmm.
philosophies, and delve into their minds and their way of thinking. And wow, did I discover a lot. you know.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
for me, religion is not the way, but
Hmm.
for many thousands, maybe millions of people, the religion is the way because
Yes.
they're accessing community. And I find people in the
Yes.
church are very friendly. Even in
Yes.
mosques, they're very, very gentle and
Yeah.
very loving and that kind of thing. But I'm an eagle. I like to soar. I like
Yep.
to fly. I can be a Buddhist if I'm in that environment. I can be a
Yep.
Christian if I'm in that environment.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
judge none.
Yes.
I tend to follow no way is way. That's
Hmm.
just my philosophy.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's a non-judgment
Hmm.
reality.
Yeah.
And I love all people. We're all connected, and
Hmm.
I find a smile is contagious. You,
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, for sure.
if someone doesn't smile back, well, that's probably there's something going on in their lives, and you
That's right.
let
You
that.
can't judge. You never know. You never know
No,
what's happening
that's
with
that's
people.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
So we're going to have to close here pretty quick. I'm
Okay.
sad to say. I knew
Well,
that I would want to just keep talking
well, we
because
could
I
we could do another session one day.
yes, I love this conversation.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask you before we close. I have one more question that I want to find out from you.
Mm.
So, for someone that's listening right now who feels stuck in patterns, whatever that pattern might be,
Mhm.
patterns that don't serve them, what
Right.
do you think the first quiet shift they can make should be
The
or
very
could be?
first thing the first thing you should do is recognize the pattern you're in. Recognize how you got there. So this is where thinking comes in, critical thinking. Sit quietly, no distractions, and think about your circumstance, how you got there, what created this pattern. Maybe you could find out where it originated, and then realize that, okay, um, I can't blame anyone else. I have to look at myself and blame myself for this condition. So, how about I change the way I think? I want to change this pattern. So, instead of doing steps towards a similar pattern, maybe change your steps, change the way you approach life,
Hmm.
change. That's the key is to changing patterns.
Yeah,
Look at the patterns
yeah,
you're in that have created this situation. How can I break it? Well, I'm going to change. Maybe I'll quit doing this. Maybe I'll stop doing that. Maybe I'll treat myself with more kindness. Stop talking negatively to yourself. Stop telling
Mm-hmm.
yourself you're an idiot or
Yes.
you're a dumbass. What are you doing?
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
we all do this,
Yes, we do.
and in
Yeah.
myself included. And when I do catch myself, and I catch myself pretty quick, I correct that right away. As soon as you
Yeah.
tell yourself you're feeling this negativity, talk to yourself and say, no, 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 I'm not going to continue this because the thing with the source in the universe is it's instant. It happens like instantly. You can
Yeah.
change patterns right now,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
And there's the moment ahead of you is not here yet, but that moment can be created by a new pattern you're creating now, new
Yeah.
thoughts, new feelings, maybe new people in your life. You know,
Absolutely.
if certain people in your life are creating these patterns, fire them, get
Yes.
some friends.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
we have to do that sometimes whenever we're
Yes.
feeling like we're being dragged down, we have to let go and
Yes.
move ahead
Yes.
and
Exactly.
send them love anyway,
Yep.
you
That's
know?
all you can do.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, that was great. Thank you so much for that advice.
My
So I
pleasure.
want to let all of the listeners know that I will have Mikhail's information in the show notes. So if you want to reach out to him, if you want to grab that spectacular book that's behind him, which I think you should, because if this man, with all of this wisdom, was sharing with us today, that book is going to be helpful. So thank you so much. I
My pleasure.
appreciate you so much for being here. It was a very uplifting conversation, and I just love it when we can talk about stuff that helps
I love
everyone.
that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
book can be found on Amazon or on my webpage, which is yourmindoryourlife.com.
Perfect. Okay. Well, I think we'll have the link certainly to your website
Sounds good.
on there as well. So perfect.
Hey, Julie.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching another episode. And we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye, everyone.